Y'all want to hear a funny story?
Yes.
So I got the position, right? They said, congratulations, you had the position. Let's start your orientation Wednesday. Great. I get a call Tuesday from the boss, and he starts the conversation as, this is going to be a lot harder for me than it is you. Which, when people say that, it's normally not harder for them.
Never.
And he's like, do you want to come in today, or do you want me to just tell you over the phone? And I'm like, I mean, if you're just gonna tell me some news, like, just tell me over the phone. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? I'm supposed to start orientation tomorrow. He proceeds to hype me up just to yank me back down, okay? He's talking about your resume was so impressive. Your energy was so perfect. We were all so excited for you to start here. You were the perfect candidate for this. All your qualities matched our position perfectly. Okay, great. So what's up? And then he said, I'm going to be very open and honest with you because you seem like you would appreciate that. And you were very open and honest with me. And I'm like, okay.
Spit
He
it out.
proceeds to tell me, well, I'm sure you understand family's family. I'm like, where's this fucking going? Well, then he says, I got a call from my cousin last night and he's having trouble keeping jobs and he needs a job to pay for his bills. What about my bills? What? So I'm going to give him the position instead. And I'm so sorry. This is so hard for me. If it makes you feel any better, he's not qualified and you are.
That guy's probably lying. If this is true, then that's not the type of job you would want to work with anyway. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new here, hit subscribe. If you've been here before, please hit the thumbs up button. Today we're checking out people that are really having a hard time reconnecting with jobs because they're finding themselves unemployed currently, but it's lasting a lot longer than they'd like.
What? Why would that even, why would that make me feel better? Why would that make me feel better? So I just said, okay. He's like, is that all you have to say? What am I supposed to say to that? Like, that's so unprofessional. You already told me I had the job. And then you're going to put somebody in a position that's not even qualified for it. You were literally telling me how I needed to be able to deal with truck drivers, BOLs, and Excel. And I've literally worked in all three of those. So at this point, I'm like, all right. Then he wants to say, can I give you some friendly advice, Lauren? Because I really appreciate your time and I'm so sorry and I'm so sad. I'm very upset and this is very hard for me. Yeah, I'm sure it is. He wants to say, knowing people will get you a lot farther in life than knowing things. If you don't get out of my phone with that BS, I had my frequencies on to tell the story because what? After the 200 applications I've already submitted and the 20 places I already went, that's so frustrating.
That is frustrating. So she said 200 applications, and that's about average. A lot of people are putting in a ton of apps. If you're one of them, please let us know down below. Let's get on to this next one here.
Check this out. There is a Berkeley professor who says that best CS grads with 4.0 GPAs coming out of Berkeley still cannot get jobs in tech.
Wow.
The tech job market has dried up. You have outspoken CEOs like the one from Klarna who says that AI can do all the jobs. Reporting goes further. It says that this is an irreversible trend and that graduates are facing a money pinch over the next 4 years because they cannot find an opportunity. Tech companies laid off over 37,000 people since January. As a founder, I get to see in a lot of different companies. And unfortunately, I've seen staff from some of our clients be laid off and they're not hiring them back. What they're doing is actually going into their salaries and using that money, hire an AI implementation partner who can do that job for them. A lot of these roles like connecting databases, processing claims, reviewing different tracks, doing billing, like all of these rote repetitive tasks are being automated and there's huge displacement. Job hunting is a real problem for this day's college graduate.
Holy moly, I don't think there is a solution. I'd imagine if you go to Cal Berkeley, you're probably leaving, college with like $100,000 amount that you owe, if not more, probably closer to 200,000, and you're expecting to get a job that's going to pay you six figures, and now it looks like that's not going to be possible. What do you guys think?
Is anyone else struggling to get a job right now? Like, I'm genuinely curious. I literally wake up every fucking day and I apply to multiple jobs on Indeed. And I don't know if it's because I'm using Indeed, but I don't hear shit back for any of these jobs. Like, I literally don't hear shit back. Why is it impossible to find a fucking job right now? I'm seriously so over it. I wake up every single day and I have nothing to do and nothing to look forward to. I have no fucking routine. It's like I wake up just to scroll on TikTok or lay in bed and feel fucking worthless. And then the days that I do get up and get ready, what am I getting ready for? To record myself to post on TikTok? Like, I'm getting sick and tired of it. It's low-key depressing and it's fucking with my mental health a little bit, which I don't want it to because who wants that? It's just really exhausting and it's really fucking annoying that I'm spending all this time, energy, and effort into getting a job and I don't hear shit back from these jobs. And I'm applying for things that I'm qualified for. Like, I'm applying for things that I have experience in. I just don't understand. Like, I literally...
How many days have you been unemployed if you are unemployed? Because it used to be you would get a job within a week or two, right? And then maybe you would be lucky and they wouldn't have you start for another week or two. So you had a whole month to kind of enjoy yourself. But now you're like, when can I start? They're thinking you still want to start in a couple weeks, like most people. And you're like, no, can I start tomorrow? Because you haven't been working in so long. Very, very scary.
There's this really crazy theory going on right now
Tell
because
us about it.
Indeed and all these job search websites have thousands of jobs that say they're hiring, but everyone that's applying is not getting hired. And some guy actually did a test where they had hundreds of people fill out applications and no one hired them or even got a call back.
Now that's scary. She's going to get into her theory on why this is, but imagine if you actually were the person running this test. You have hundreds of people that are applying for jobs just so you can kind of see the data points that come from it, and none of them get a call back. That's crazy.
And so the running theory is that they're using all people's data and selling it to bigger companies. So when you send all your information in, like your first name, your last name, where you're located, your resume, where you've been, they're taking that information and selling it to bigger companies and holding on to it because right now data is the new gold. And that's kind of scary. What do you think?
You know what's interesting? If you look at her, she looks like the type of girl that would be tattooless. I mean, doesn't she kind of look like somebody that shouldn't have a single tattoo yet? She's got more tattoos than probably 95% of the world. Okay, real quick. This person's going to talk and then she's going to tell us her age. Let me know real quick before we play this. How old how old do you think this girl is?
So I just had brunch with a couple of my girlfriends, and everyone's talking about how they can't wait to get married. They're either engaged, about to get married. Some even thinking about having kids. It's like, damn, I am not there. Like, I want to have kids, would love, definitely want to get married and all that, but that feels so far away for me. As women, we're conditioned to feel like we're on a timeline. If you're thinking about kids, like, you have to think about all of that, and I'm about to turn 30 soon. And I can't imagine having a little baby right next to me. It really does make me question myself, because when they're talking about, getting married and engaged and all this stuff, I'm talking about how I can't even find a job. It makes me feel so less than, I guess. Like, being unemployed sucks because you can't plan for your future and, big things that you want to do. And it
She brings up an excellent point. If you want to have kids, if you want to move to a particular part of the country and you can't even find a job, it does stunt your growth. It does put a big hurdle on your future. But let's be honest, she looks closer to 24 or 25 than 30. Am I right?
and it really throws you off your timeline. And at a time like this, where the market sucks so much, it's like, when am I going to ever get a job? Like, I don't feel like I'm my best self right now, so I can't even think about dating. No, you're not supposed to compare your life to everyone else, but it just feels like everyone is getting further in their life and I'm getting further back and back. It makes me just feel behind.
So the reality is, if you're not moving forward in life, you are moving behind. This girl probably has a ton of experience, probably has high level degrees, right? And she can't get a job. She looks a little possessed right there. She's possessed and ready to get a job.
Hi, Colby.
How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. So, look, I wanted to hop right into it, Colby. As you may have heard, we've been restructuring parts of the firm by adopting AI to alleviate some just high operational expenses. And unfortunately, that's led us to make some difficult decisions, including the immediate termination of your role. And look, this is not based on performance as an employee.
This is a firm-wide decision that's impacting hundreds of resources.
And I know this is probably hard to hear, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Will I be receiving any severance?
Yeah, no, for sure. So you'll be receiving 2 weeks severance. We know this is not a lot, but I'm sure you'll get back out there and find a new role soon. Take care, Colby.
So Colby lost his job. He was able to record it and kind of share it with us. The one thing I liked about the person that was laying him off, he got it done in like 10 or 15 seconds, said, "Hey, your job's over." At least he didn't give him a 5.5 minute speech.
I am seeing too many videos of graduates, literal graduates from college, whether they have a bachelor's or master's, saying how they have literally applied for their 100th job, entry-level job, and not getting hired. And it's so discouraging because it's like, for people who even considered going to college, getting their degree, they're probably looking at it now as like, okay, well, what's the point? Because people who have gone to college finished can't even get a job. And it's so crazy because the next generation will try to say that we're lazy. No, your generation isn't hiring.
So here's the interesting thing. When we talk about AI, we talk about customer service reps. Now I hear people talking about how doctors and surgeons are going to be losing their jobs. Teachers and lawyers are going to be losing their jobs. And what that ultimately means is that universities are going to shut down, because what's the point of getting a higher education if all the jobs are taken and you can't get it with your degree anyway?
I have seen a lot of people talk about the troubles they're in because of this economy, because of this world, because of this trash job market. And I hope and pray every one of you, every single one of you, every good thing comes your way expeditiously.
You know what's really creepy? We were all watching videos just 2 or 3 years ago, and they were talking about how you should quit your job, and that's how you're going to get this huge raise at your next job, right? And everybody was quiet quitting, and people that were working from home were actually working 2 or 3 jobs undercover, right? So your boss didn't find out. And all of a sudden, just 2 short years later, everything has flipped over on top of itself. And now it's the exact opposite. Is that not the scariest thing ever? Everybody went from earning average to well above average to nothing really quick.
Let me ask you something. How many of you out there are struggling to find a job? I cannot find employment. I have a bachelor's degree. I was under the impression that if I had a degree in college, that would perhaps open doors for me. But it hasn't. Even my resume, which, by the way, I have an aunt who's a headhunter, who looks at resumes for a living, who personally helped me to craft my resume. I can't even get a job in retail right now. Is anybody else struggling with this particular thing where they just can't find work?
You know, when I go to the mall, because I like to go to the mall probably 2 or 3 times a month, you see the girl or the guy up at the cash register at these various stores, and I always think, hey, that's a high school person or a young adult. I don't think like, hey, that's a person that should be getting ready for law school, or that's a person that, just got their degree in accounting or IT. They should have a job that's a much higher level than that. So for him to have to go and try to get a retail job working at the mall, that's got to be very humbling. And very scary because you still got to pay that student loan debt.
So my mom just dropped me off at my apartment, right? After like going and applying to places. I've applied to about 50 places, called all of them back, desperately trying to get a job. Most of them haven't even given me an interview. I've had one interview. No one else will even let me have an interview. They just keep denying my application.
They're like, hey, who called? Hey, that girl, that real desperate girl that keeps wanting us to hire her. Don't take her calls.
And I told her, I was like, the issue isn't people not wanting to work. The issue is employers not wanting to hire people. Like, I desperately need a job. I am desperately looking for a job. I have been unemployed for a week. That is a long time for me. I live alone. I can't afford to not have a job.
When she says, I haven't worked in a week, everyone perks up their ears like, what is this, a joke? If you're living by yourself and you're basically paycheck to paycheck, you can't afford to go 1 or 2 months even without a job. That's why when you hear these people that have been without work for 6, 7, 8 months, it's very scary. What are these people going to do?
Well, she told me, she was like, it's because you can believe whatever you believe, but you can't talk about it at work. And I'm like, if people are being misogynistic to me at work, I'm going to stand up for myself. I got fired for standing up for myself because I don't shut up about it. If somebody's treating me badly, I'm going to speak up about it because I don't deserve disrespect.
So I think we can all agree with her that if you're getting treated poorly, especially by like maybe a male coworker or supervisor, there's a time and place to discuss it though. So you don't want to do that in front of customers and you don't want to do it in a way where you end up burning a bridge. And it sounds kind of like she might have defended herself a little too harshly. What I mean by that is sometimes we can take it overboard. For all we know, she might have given them an ultimatum. Either the manager goes or I go, and sometimes they're going to keep the manager.
Can we please stop asking people what they do as an icebreaker? I'm doing the best I can with what I got. Word to Mariah. You don't know what somebody going through and you asking them what they do. I try. That's all I can do. I just try. I try my best. Let's stop asking that question to people. Some people don't do nothing. Okay? Some people ain't got nothing to do. Some people trying to do something and ain't getting no results. Matter of fact, let's start just asking, what do you like to do? Because a lot of people don't even like what they do, and y'all over here asking them, what do you do? Like, why is that the base question for conversation? Get out of my face.
So people are obviously frustrated about not having a job, and that can be irritating, whether you're working in a job you can't stand that's a little beneath you, so to speak, or if you're completely unemployed. But to be honest with you, most of the people that you talk with are going to ask you what you do. Just tell them that you're in between jobs. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And I think there's so many other people that are without jobs right now. I wonder if that's keeping people from dating. Wouldn't that be horrible if all these layoffs led to even more single people, which of course it probably will. Hey, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you come back again tomorrow. We'll watch some more videos together. Have a good night. Get a job.